yesterday was an absolute disgrace from every single person. I mean, to be honest, that's not true because I think a couple of people can come up that game holding their head up high, but when it's only like 2 or 3 players...
I think it's pretty much Lloris and Skip.
Lloris, Skip. I would even put Mora in that bracket as well because I think Mora did try hard. He was trying, but every time he was going forward, he was beating a few men. But there was just no one around him every time.
I would say in the second half, I agree. I don't think he did anything in the first half.
I do think Mora was trying. That's
in
the thing.
Second half. I don't think he did anything in the first half. I really don't.
I think that in the first half he did get the ball and try beat a few men, but every time he tried, he was completely isolated.
He was getting tackled more often than I've ever seen Lucas Moura get tackled yesterday.
Yeah.
He was getting tackled a lot more. I think in the second half, I agree with you. He was the one picking up the ball, had that shot that hit the bar. He had a few moments where you looked like trying to create something. I don't think in the first half. I think he was just as anonymous as everyone else. I really believe that.
But like the players that can come away with that, showing that they were fighting for the badge, I did think you saw signs of him fighting for the badge, like you say in that second half anyway. But even so, Lucas Moura, Ollie Skip, Hugo Lloris, Højbjerg. I mean, Højbjerg...
I don't think Højbjerg comes out.
I know Højbjerg played badly and got overrun, but at least I said you can completely see he was trying. He was on his own in the middle there, and I know he went completely missing for one of the goals as well.
First goal, mate. That first goal.
He was literally just walking back.
I think if I was a different player, not cool. If I was Winks doing what Højbjerg did, you wouldn't be saying the same thing. I really believe that. I really believe that. That first goal, he was actually a disgrace for that first goal.
He was a disgrace, but at the end of the day, for the majority of that game, especially in that first half, he was there in the middle of the park, completely trying to fight off that Arsenal midfield completely alone.
Yeah, I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying if you literally look at his running for that first goal.
Yeah, I know.
He is nowhere.
I know.
Nowhere. Our central midfield is non-existent. Ndombele is obviously not helping, but actually Ndombele, in a weird way, he was waiting for, if he was there in case, because obviously Saka is running at Reguilon, and he's actually behind Reguilon in case Saka cuts back on his left foot, and then Ndombele could be there to kind of put a tackle in. Højbjerg was just nowhere. He wasn't marking anyone, wasn't near anyone, just jogging around. He wasn't identifying any danger. It was actually shocking from Højbjerg what I saw for that first goal.
I completely agree, but what I'm saying is that that moment was a complete disgrace.
Look,
from
I know,
I've seen it many times. I was saying that moment
unbelievable
was a complete disgrace from Højbjerg, but I did feel for him because he was in that middle completely alone for that first half. Completely alone.
During the game,
help from Ali. No help from Ndombele. Those two were the ones that were a complete disgrace in the game yesterday. Complete disgrace. And I mean, they didn't show for the ball once in that first half. Not once. You know, Dyer's got it at the back more times than anyone, right, in our team. And there is just nothing there. There's no one for him to pass it to at all. There's just no one for him to pass it to. I mean, why isn't Ndombele or Dele Alli providing options so we can start an attack or something? That's why I think we were restricted to playing the long ball every single time, because no one was showing for the ball in the middle of the park.
Yep, there was no one coming short. Everyone was just basically, you know, when in football when you're tired and whatever, and you kind of don't really want the ball, and then you start like standing behind opposition players, hiding basically. That's what we saw from our whole midfield when we're on the ball. I'm sorry, it was shocking. If you take any a screenshot pretty much at any point when our centre backs had the ball, not one midfielder coming to help them. They're all either on the halfway line or in the in positions where it's either impossible to find them or they're just hiding. Like each one of them were a disgrace on the ball and off the ball as well. They were completely overrun. They weren't there to track their runners or doing the hard things at all. They weren't putting tackles in. They were making it so easy for all the Arsenal attackers and midfielders to just breeze past them and create chances. And with their pace and we know they got attacking talent. Arsenal, with Saka, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, they're tricky players. And if you're not on your game, they can do what they did to you yesterday. And that's exactly what happened. And I think it made no sense. The tactics from Nuno. When it came from Ndombele, I don't understand what it is, but it was like either he didn't want to get involved in the play or he was instructed to always be on that left-hand side. Because every time we got the ball, every single time we got the ball, up until the second half we made that change to bring on Skip, and then he was a bit more centrally. But every time we got the ball, he was on that left-hand side. Like, not just on the left-hand side, he was nowhere near anyone. And it wasn't necessarily he was marked. He wasn't even marked. He was free, but he was so far away from the play all the time, he couldn't get involved. I remember saying to you, I was like, why is he not getting involved in the play? We're literally, everyone's like, in and around the right-hand side of the pitch all the time.
And he's just completely
and
on
he's
the other
just
side
so
of the pitch.
far
No, I
away
know.
from everyone. Like,
I don't
not
get it.
near.
I don't get it.
It made no... It was like... I felt like it was too purposeful not to have been an instruction.
Yeah.
It had to have been, because he literally, every time we got the ball, he like shifted onto the left-hand side every time. And then just not getting involved at all. And then, you know, for someone like Ndombele, he thrives when you pass it to him in tight spaces, and he can go on the half turn and beat a player. We didn't give him the ball at all, and he wasn't in those areas where you can really hurt the Arsenal midfield players.
The thing is with Ndombele, even when he did get on the ball, he lost it. Even when he did get on the ball, it was just
he looked
shocking.
sluggish.
It was shocking from him from start to finish. He was an absolute disgrace yesterday, Tanguy Ndombele. It basically looked like from the first minute that his second half performance against Wolves. That's pretty much what it looked like, without him actually like doing anything good creatively or attacking. That's what it looked like. It looked like he was gassed out from minute one. Dele Alli, another one, absolutely hiding on that pitch yesterday.
Rightly taken over half time.
And what the hell did he provide for us, Dele Alli? What the hell did he provide for us? Absolutely nothing.
He got outfought. And I was worried I remember looking at the lineup. I was thinking, I remember when we first saw the lineup, we were like, I mean, he's going offensive, which I kind of like, but also it's risky because Arsenal, with their attacking talent, if we're not up for the fight, we're going to get outdone here if we're not up for the fight. And we weren't up for the fight. That's exactly what happened. They played with Xhaka and Partey in the centre. They had steel about them. They had fight about them. They were in it for every full-blooded challenge. And Ndombele and Dele didn't want it. They didn't want it whatsoever. They were just completely outrun, outfought. And Arsenal, it was an easy day for them in the end, especially in the first half. Well, I will have to say, look, you can play shit, but if the other team plays badly, you know, it can be a team where both teams play badly. They played well, Arsenal. They did play well.
Play well though.
You say, yeah, okay, we let them play well, but they still need to take advantage of that, you know. And it does take a good team to exploit us as efficiently as they did, and they exploited us very efficiently in all our aspects.
We're conceding 3 goals again. Crystal Palace exploited us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it was 0-0. Yeah, but that was a game again. A solid, perfect example. That was 0-0 up until we got a red card because both teams were not playing that well. We played shit, but Palace weren't exactly playing great.
They were still all over us though.
Yeah, but it was 0-0.
I know it was 0-0, but exactly. They were still all over us. It was 0-0, and they were winning at the time.
Yes, but it was 0-0, right? Yes, they deserved to be winning, but they didn't create the chances Arsenal created yesterday. I'm telling you, that's exactly my point. That shows how a better team can exploit us more than an average team.
On another day, Palace would have exploited us that day. They just got unlucky.
No.
That day.
That's a perfect example of my point. Palace are an average team, and they couldn't exploit us as efficiently as Arsenal did. Arsenal exploited us very efficiently and impressively. I have to say that they did. You have to be a good team to take full advantage of a team's weaknesses, and that's what they did.
I think it was more to do with us playing badly, us completely letting them play, us having no complete midfield, us having no aggression, no fight, no nothing whatsoever. It's a North London derby, and whatever you want to say about Arsenal, how bad they've been over the last couple of years, they always turn up to this game.
Yeah.
They always turn up to this game, and you can't say the same about our players. Our players fail to turn up at the Emirates every single year, and it's beyond a joke now. It really is, and it doesn't. It seems like it's getting worse and worse every year as well. It really does. I mean, that first half was an absolute disgrace. Every single player, absolute disgrace. And the manager as well. I mean, the tactics were completely wrong. I mean, we went for like an attacking formation with 5 attacking players on the pitch. But
there was no structure to build.
There was no structure in that team whatsoever. We got it to die, we lumped it up at the field every single time.
Well, Sanchez. And they weren't even... Like, there's one thing if they're good long balls where you get them into areas where players can fight for it and try and pick up the second balls. They were nowhere near, the long balls were nowhere near any Tottenham player. None of them. They went straight through to the goalkeeper or straight out of play. It wasn't even a long ball where Son or Kane or Moura could even fight for it. They were just terrible passes. I don't know if they were passes or just clearances. Whatever they were, it was shambolic. And it didn't allow for any sort of any ability for the forward players to even try and challenge for the ball because it was just so easy for the Arsenal defence to deal with it. And then once they got the ball, we had no fight to want to get and challenge them and combat them. They were just quicker and sharper than us in every aspect. Even the second goal, one of the few times we did have them penned in, and they just about managed to play their way out of the press, and then bam, within a few seconds they're on our goal and they scored. Tanganga's out of position,
like a
butter. It was so easy.
Knife through butter.
So easy.
Time and time again in that first half, and we were probably lucky to get away with 3-0 in the first half.
Literally. I don't think we had a shot. We had one shot. I think Son had that shot from a really tight angle, which was never going to go in.
Yeah.
That was all we had.
And
that whole first half.
It was such a hard watch. I mean, you look forward to this game all week. The fans getting up for it. Arsenal have been poor this season, and then that happens in that first half. The game's over in literally 20 minutes. But you could see. You see this moment. As soon as the game kicked off, we weren't up for it.
You see this moment here when the ball gets played here to about. Look at the second goal, right? The ball gets played to Aubameyang here. I tell you what would have made a difference if Romero was there. Because Romero would be here, stepping in front of Aubameyang. And
that's exactly what Sanchez should be doing.
But Sanchez lets Aubameyang get the flick on. Tanganga's out of position.
Sanchez and Dyer yesterday. Oh,
shocking.
My dead.
Shocking.
Oh my days. They showed their true colours yesterday. They absolutely showed their true colours, and everyone's given Dyer and Sanchez praise for their first 3 games of the season, and rightly so. They played well, but at the end of the day, they showed their true colours, and every Spurs fan knew this was just around the corner with these two.
It's true. On the one hand, what I will say is they didn't have the protection that they had in the first 3 games when Skip was there. But when you don't have that protection, then you rely on your individual qualities as a defender to defend. And they showed that they don't really have a lot. They need that protection, otherwise they're badly exposed. The reason why for example, the reason why Ruben Diaz and Laporte don't need as much protection as Sanchez and Dyer. It's not because of the team structure or anything.
Top quality.
It's because they're great defenders, and then when they're one-on-one against an attacker, they back themselves to come on top, and they don't get exposed.
Exactly.
Like Sanchez and Dyer, they need that protection because they're not very good. They're not individually. When it comes up against good quality teams or good quality attackers, they're not up for it. They're not up for it. They get exposed time after time again, way too easily. And it showed again yesterday. Lack of protection, and they got exposed easily. And I got to say, Tanganga, he was bad. He suffered from a seriously lack of composure on the ball when he was on it. He didn't know what to do with it when he got it. He just lumped it forward. He panicked. So many times, his either attempted pass or attempted clearance went straight to an Arsenal player pretty much every time. It was poor, really poor from Jaffa, and he got caught out badly for that second goal. He was in no man's land for that second goal, and really bad. Yeah, really bad.
I think those four players
and Reguilon as well. Until the second half,
the line was shocking, wasn't it?
Reguilon, man, there were times where he was letting the ball go past him, and it just went out of play, as if he thought he could let the ball roll past him and run onto it, and it would just go out of play straight away. It was really shocking. Really shocking. I
think the players that really hurt me yesterday was Alli, Ndombele, Dyer and Sanchez. I think those 4 for me were just so bad. Just so bad. I think in any game, if they play like that, they're going to get completely exposed.
And how mad is it, for the third goal, Kane loses the ball on the edge of this box, because he trips or he's trying to dribble and he's just looking tired and he loses the ball. And then you look at when the goal scored, who's the one putting the challenge in?
Kane, yeah.
Where's the midfield? Where are they? Where's Dele, Ndombele and Højbjerg? We're literally, why are we relying on our striker to make a challenge to get the ball back in his own penalty area? I know he gave the ball away, so I think it was good. He should have been doing what he did, which is when he loses the ball, when he's doing what he did, you have to track back and try and make up for it, which I back, right? But he still shouldn't be the closest man to it, to getting the ball back in that situation. There is no midfield. That was the perfect example. It was shambolic from the whole team.
And Dyer and Sanchez, they were shit scared of the Arsenal attack. They were backing off until they eventually scored 3 goals in the first half. That's all they were doing yesterday. How many times did you see Dyer and Sanchez just backing off?
So many times.
Absolute disgrace, man. You can't put these kind of performance in a North London derby.
And that's why...
In any game, actually. Forget the North London derby. Have some pride about yourselves, man.
Just super chat from Tottenham Dan says, we have gone back 20 years after being on the cusp of being a great team. Levy did not invest and keep moving forward. The year we finished second. Yep, I mean that's just like beating a dead horse at this point.
And that's the facts of the matter. That's completely true. And like everyone likes to go, oh, Nuno out, Nuno this, Nuno that. But ultimately, if you've got an average squad and you're an average manager and your chairman is making average decisions, then this is exactly what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Average managers make average decisions. And I'm sorry, Nuno is an average manager.
Yeah, going back to the team selection,
Skip had to play.
Yeah, I think what he's thinking was, this is what I'm just thinking out loud, how Nuno probably was thinking, is that with Højbjerg there, with Dele putting the same effort in he was putting in, had been putting in all season, and then had the creativity of Ndombele, he probably thought we could combat Partey and Xhaka with Højbjerg and Dele, and then Ndombele could, if Odegaard wasn't going to do the pressing on Ndombele could have a bit of a free role, but it did not turn out like that.
See how
whatsoever.
Skip played in Molineux last week.
I didn't understand. We knew that if Skip was going to play this game, he was going to put in full-blooded challenges and have that passion to fight with every bit of energy he had. And as well with Dele, as much as he's been putting in good work, he's not the player you want to rely on to put in those challenges. There's a difference between putting in tackles and really having that fight. And he doesn't have that fight to go up against a Partey or a Xhaka, Dele. Even if he goes at 100%, he will. If Xhaka or Partey are 100%, he's going to lose out because he's not as strong as Partey or Xhaka. He doesn't have that level of aggression that Partey and Xhaka have. Even at 100%, he doesn't have that. So that's why we need someone like Skip who would be able to combat in the centre, would give us more protection, and it would give us that ability to compete in the middle. We just didn't compete in the middle whatsoever, and it showed in the. I know Arsenal dropped off in the second half because they're 3-0 up, but still, it showed in the second half. Just a few full-blooded challenges from Skippy, a bit of protection, and all of a sudden we had a bit of control in the game.
You know, if you pressurise that Arsenal team, if you're aggressive with them, if you kind of, put some pride into the game, put some pride in your performance. If you're that aggressive with them, the way you should be in a North London derby, you're going to put pressure on them, and then, something might be able to happen. But if you go in like we did, this is like losing from the beginning, pretty much. Got on that pitch and we lost before we went out there. That's what it felt like. And you could see from the first few minutes the way we started the game, the way they started the game, what was going to happen, how the game was going to unravel.
Yeah, we're getting in time and time on the sides, and we had nothing
straight away. Tommy Arsu, absolutely brilliant.
Dominated.
He completely had Son in his back pocket pretty much all game.
Dominated.
Pretty much. Thomas Partey, he dominated that midfield, and we were saying, we needed to dominate this midfield if we're going to get anything out of this game, and
that was where it was won and lost. I think that midfield main primarily.
It was.
I think there were other issues, but I think primarily that midfield battle was the biggest cause of how shite we were.
Yeah.
I think if we win that midfield battle, I'm not saying we would have won, but we would have been in the game, and we could have won or lost, but it would have been a tighter game.
At the end of the day, yeah, it's not about like winning, losing, drawing, whatever. Like, you can play well, you can put heart in it, and you can lose a game, which is fair enough. Which obviously I mind against Arsenal, but I can kind of accept it. When we put in that kind of performance at the Emirates and we get battered like that, I just can't accept that. I cannot accept that. It's just nowhere near good enough. You cannot lose to Arsenal, go onto that pitch without putting in 1 ounce of effort.
Sorry, going 3-0 down at half-time, you can't accept that. You can't accept being 3-0 down at half-time. I mean, come on. It's a North London derby. You want to be in the game. You want to see your team. We didn't play against Arsenal yesterday. We just folded against Arsenal yesterday. There was no game. A game infers that there's two sides looking involved in a game of football. That wasn't what happened yesterday. That wasn't an equally contested game of football. It was just one team coming out and bullying the other. That was it. It was shocking. It was shocking. It was like we were a relegation candidate team, honestly, yesterday. We played like we were Norwich.
Yeah, we did. And Norwich actually got a better result.
Norwich did get a better result than
Arsenal. And so did Burnley. You know what I mean? Two teams that haven't won all season.
Yeah.
Like literally the two worst teams in the Premier League right now. And it's absolutely shocking. It's absolutely shocking. I was completely lost for words last night. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know where to put myself. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's completely embarrassing.
And the way the Arsenal fans singing back the chant that our Spurs fans were singing at Palace game. Just goes to show how quickly things have swung. They've won their next 3 games. We lost our next 3 games, and now we're in turmoil. Not only have we lost them, we've been battered. 3-0, 3-0, 3-1.
In 3 London derbies.
In 3 London derbies, we lacked fight in all of them, pretty much, except for the first half against Chelsea. That was the only time. Trying to pick out. Let's go through the positives, and that's it. I think.
I think the positives.
I think that's
are
all the positives.
that if Harry Kane would have scored that dink, I think we actually could have got back in the game.
I would say in the second half, look, if we're taking our emotional hat about being 3-0 down at half time and about how shite that first half was, which was, I don't think you can get much lower than that in terms of football. But take that aside.
It's very hard to take that aside.
It is very hard. We've literally been through that for about 20 minutes now, so I want to stop talking about the first half because I want to somehow etch that out of my mind. I don't know if you can do that, but it's going to be burned in my mind forever. But if we take that second half in isolation, bring on Skip, and who else came on? Emerson came on in the second half.
They both added positively
I
to
think
the team.
they added. I still think Arsenal. I would say I don't think we were necessarily the better side in the second half. It was probably just more of an even game in the second half, which we got a goal. Arsenal didn't get a goal. They did have a few chances. They didn't score. Lloris made a few good saves. We had a bit more control of the game. Not control ahead of Arsenal, just control more than the first half in that second half. Skip added a bit more bite, added a bit more aggression, actually made some challenges, which no one was doing in the first half. Emerson actually
felt so refreshing to see a midfielder put a challenge in.
Yeah.
That's how much we were starved in that first half.
Emerson seemed a lot more comfortable on the ball than Tanganga did in that second half. We actually started to build some attacks on the wings when Emerson was there. He was able to get some crosses in the box. He was able to actually hold possession in the final third, which Tanganga was. I actually think he was a bit exposed yesterday, to be honest, Tanganga, unfortunately. But we'll get onto that in a minute. And when Brian Hill came on, I thought he was actually really good.
He
linked up well with Reguilon, he added a bit of creativity on the left-hand side a few times.
He's another one that can hold his head up high after yesterday.
A few times he was. I don't know how long he played for, maybe 20 minutes or so. But a few times he was getting in behind Tomiyasu, making Tomiyasu think about where to be. Because Son, I think, was all the time playing in front of him. But Hill was actually getting beyond him and getting to the byline and getting some crosses in and actually giving Arsenal things to think about. That was positive. We forced Ramsdale into a couple of saves. Kane forced Ramsdale into a good save, which could have been, if someone was following up on that, could have been a goal. Obviously, Ramsdale made an unbelievable save in the 90 in stoppage time from Lucas. What a save that was! That's one of the saves of the season. You got to say from that strike from Lucas. And Kane had that chance at 3-0, which could have easily been. Easily, if he puts that away, which I actually think, as much as it was a bad miss, I actually think he did really well to get in that position. The way he actually took the ball down, the way he beat Tomiyasu for strength before getting on the end of it, and then obviously it was close, but it was just wide. It was a bad miss that he should have scored for the quality of Kane. Look, I actually think for a striker who's not as good as Kane, that's a difficult chance. But a striker as good as Kane, that's a chance you got to be putting away.
I'm saying Kane usually gobbles up those chances.
Yeah, I don't think it was as easy a chance as I think a lot of people say, but Kane has to be scoring that for sure. And then Kane actually, I don't know, I haven't seen it back yet. I'll preface, I haven't seen the challenge back yet. Some people are saying it was in the box. Some people are saying it was out of the box.
It was in the box.
It was. Have you seen it back?
I saw a match of the day last night.
I didn't watch match. I couldn't bring myself to watch.
It was in the box, but I'm not sure if it was a foul or not.
I haven't seen it back. So it wasn't a foul or not?
I'm not too sure. I only saw it once because
a lot of people saying it was a Stonewall foul. I wasn't sure if it was inside or outside.
I think it was inside. I think it was inside.
So we could add. I don't know. Maybe we could add a penalty. So. Even thinking about how shite we were throughout that first half, we were the worst of the worst. Relegation, literally like a League Two team coming to a Premier League side in a cup game. That's what it was like in the first half. It somehow actually could have ended 3-3. It could have, in a weird way.
I know, but it
and
didn't.
I know it didn't, but it could have, and that goes to show that how different it could have been with a different setup from the start.
I got flashbacks of that Lucas Moura shot of Aaron Lennon. It was exactly the same.
Yeah.
It seemed like exactly the same, except when Ramsdale got the save.
And no one was following up on the on the rebound. So I think when Lloris talks about a good reaction, I
didn't hear what Lloris said.
Yeah, Lloris said we started the game awfully, and then there was a good reaction in the second half. I think from a emotional standpoint, I want to tell him to F off, and we shouldn't have been 3-0 down. You can't talk about good reactions when you're 3-0 down. But I guess from when you're a football club and you want to take positives out of a situation which are very few yesterday. I guess that's one thing he's going to cling on to.
Yeah, but I'm not having it. Yes, we were improved in the second half, but still, like, you need to, if you're going to improve on your second half performance after being 3-0 down in the first half, you get back into that game. Otherwise, you're going to get absolutely slated. I don't care if we were prime Barcelona in that second half. If we're not getting back into it, you're a disgrace.
Yeah, because being 3-0 down, that puts yourself in a position where it's just where you're open, unless you literally either get it back to 3-2 and show a bit of pride, or get something out of the game. There's nothing you can do to make up for that first half, unless
unforgivable.
Exactly, there's nothing you can do. It's a bit like when I remember, a few years ago, when Arsenal in the Champions League, when they used to always go out in the round of 16, and they always used to get absolutely battered in the first leg, like 3 or 4-0, and then they would like come back in the second leg and win 2-0, and then every year they would say, oh, we were unlucky, oh, look how we won that second leg, and I'll be just like, yeah, but you always get battered in the first leg. Like, there's a reason why you're always coming back. You're always getting battered first. You can't take pride out of just about missing out every time when you're always getting completely battered. That's why you're only just coming back. And that's the same yesterday. It's like, you can't take pride in showing a good reaction and getting a goal when you got absolutely battered in that first half.
It was basically the Chelsea game, but the other way around, except for we weren't as good in the second half against Arsenal as we were in the first half against Chelsea.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a carbon copy of a game, just the opposite way around in half. Like, Chelsea as much outclassed us as Arsenal did.
What is it about this team? Did we not know a game is 90 minutes? Did we just not know that? Are we not aware that football is played over 90 minutes? Does this team just not know that?
I don't get it. Every single game
under Mourinho, we had this problem. Like one half, we could only play well for one half.
Yeah,
Under Nuno seems to have this problem as well. If that, but by the way, under Nuno, because sometimes we don't play in any half. But if we do play well, it's only for one half. Like, we seem to have a big issue.